You ate breakfast this morning believing you made a healthy choice. Oatmeal maybe, granola, fruit juice, a smoothie packed with what the label called superfoods. Here is what almost nobody tells you. Several of the most commonly recommended breakfast foods, foods your own doctor may have suggested, are quietly spiking your blood sugar higher and faster than a slice of white cake. This is not about willpower. This is not about eating too much sugar on purpose. This is about foods marketed as healthy that behave completely differently inside your body than the label suggests. Today, I am going to show you 4 breakfast foods that are doing exactly this right now in kitchens everywhere. Stay with me until the end, because the 4th food on this list is one that nearly every nutrition guide recommends for people trying to manage their blood sugar, and that recommendation is dangerously incomplete. Before we get into the list, you need to understand one concept: the glycemic response. It is not simply about how much sugar a food contains. It is about how quickly that food breaks down into glucose and floods your bloodstream. Two foods can have similar calorie counts and completely different effects on your blood sugar, depending on their fiber content, their processing, and how your body digests them. A rapid glucose spike followed by a rapid crash is what drives mid-morning fatigue, sudden hunger an hour after eating, and over years contributes to insulin resistance, the underlying mechanism behind type 2 diabetes. Keep that idea in mind: rapid spike, rapid crash, repeated daily, because every food on this list follows that same pattern. Food number 4, instant oatmeal, particularly flavored varieties. Oatmeal has one of the strongest health reputations of any breakfast food, and whole rolled oats or steel-cut oats genuinely deserve that reputation. But instant oatmeal is a different product entirely. The oats have been pre-cooked, dried, and rolled extremely thin, so they cook in minutes. This processing dramatically increases their surface area, which means your digestive enzymes break them down far faster than whole oats. Add to that the flavored packets, which frequently contain 12 to 14 grams of added sugar per serving, and you have a breakfast that behaves in your bloodstream almost identically to a bowl of sugary cereal. Research comparing glycemic index values has shown that instant oatmeal can produce a significantly higher and faster blood sugar rise compared to steel-cut oats, despite both being technically the same grain. The fix here is not to abandon oatmeal. It is to choose steel-cut or old-fashioned rolled oats, prepared without flavor packets, and to add your own cinnamon, a small amount of nut butter, or a handful of nuts, which slows digestion and blunts the glucose response considerably. Food number 3, flavored yogurt marketed as healthy or protein-rich. Yogurt has genuine nutritional value, protein, calcium, and in some cases beneficial probiotics. But most flavored yogurts sold in grocery stores, including many marketed specifically toward health-conscious consumers, contain between 14 and 22 grams of added sugar per serving, often more sugar by weight than a comparable serving of ice cream. What makes this particularly deceptive is that yogurt is digested relatively quickly to begin with, and the added sugar compounds that speed, producing a fast glucose spike disguised behind a health food label. In my experience working with patients trying to manage their blood sugar, this was one of the most common blind spots I encountered. People would proudly tell me they swapped dessert for yogurt, without realizing their yogurt contained nearly as much sugar as the dessert they gave up. The solution is straightforward. Choose plain, unsweetened yogurt, whether regular or Greek style, and add your own toppings, fresh berries, a small amount of honey if desired, or a sprinkle of chia seeds, so you control exactly how much sugar goes into your body. Food number 2, fruit juice and smoothies. Even when labeled 100% fruit, this is one of the most misunderstood categories in the entire breakfast aisle. Whole fruit contains fiber, and that fiber physically slows the rate at which sugar is absorbed into your bloodstream. When fruit is juiced or blended, that fiber structure is broken down or removed entirely, which means the natural sugar in the fruit behaves almost exactly like the sugar in a sweetened soft drink once it reaches your gut. A single glass of orange juice can contain the sugar equivalent of 3 to 4 whole oranges, without the fiber that would have slowed its absorption in the first place. Even smoothies, which retain more fiber than juice, are typically blended so thoroughly that the fiber's protective effect is significantly reduced compared to eating the fruit whole. Studies comparing whole fruit consumption to fruit juice consumption have consistently found that juice produces a substantially faster and higher glucose response. The practical fix is simple: eat whole fruit instead of drinking it. If you enjoy smoothies, add a source of protein or healthy fat, like Greek yogurt or a spoonful of nut butter, and keep the portion modest, closer to a small glass than a large one. And now, food number one, the one I promised you: whole wheat and multigrain breads and bagels. This is the food that surprises people most because whole wheat has such a strong health halo attached to it. Here is the problem: many commercial whole wheat and multigrain breads are made primarily from finely milled flour, with only a small percentage of intact whole grain added for color and marketing purposes. The milling process breaks down the grain's structure so completely that your body digests it almost as quickly as white bread, despite the darker color and the word whole grain printed prominently on the packaging. Bagels compound this problem further because of their density. A single large bagel can contain the equivalent carbohydrate load of 4 to 6 slices of bread, consumed in one sitting, digested rapidly, with minimal fiber to slow the process. I have studied the glycemic behavior of processed grain products extensively, and here is what I found. Two breads can carry nearly identical whole grain claims on their packaging while producing dramatically different blood sugar responses, depending entirely on whether the grain was left largely intact during processing or milled into fine flour. The way to tell the difference is to check the ingredient list rather than the front of the package. Look for bread where whole grain flour is the first ingredient, and ideally where you can see visible pieces of intact grain or seeds throughout the bread itself. Denser, seedier breads with visible texture almost always produce a slower, gentler blood sugar response than soft, fine-textured bread, regardless of what the packaging claims. If you are someone who monitors your blood sugar at home with a finger-prick glucose meter to see how these foods affect you personally, I want to give you an important safety note. If you feel sharp pain or numbness while doing this, stop immediately. This is a sign of a structural issue that needs a physical exam and should never be worked through or ignored in an attempt to complete a reading. Let us bring this together. Instant oatmeal, especially flavored varieties, digests rapidly and often contains hidden added sugar. Flavored yogurt frequently contains as much sugar as dessert, disguised behind a health-conscious label. Fruit juice and smoothies remove or reduce the fiber that would normally slow sugar absorption, allowing natural sugars to spike your blood glucose rapidly. And whole wheat or multigrain bread is often made from finely milled flour that behaves like white bread inside your body, despite its whole grain marketing. The underlying pattern connecting all four of these foods is processing. Whether it is oats rolled thinner, fruit stripped of its fiber, yogurt loaded with syrup, or wheat milled into fine flour, processing removes the natural barriers your body relies on to slow digestion and glucose absorption. This is not a call to fear these foods entirely. Whole oats, whole fruit, plain yogurt, and properly made whole grain bread remain genuinely healthy choices. The issue is specifically the processed, sweetened, or refined versions that hide behind the same names and the same health claims. Here is what I want you to do starting tomorrow morning. Choose steel-cut or old-fashioned oats over instant packets. Choose plain yogurt and add your own fruit and toppings. Eat whole fruit rather than drinking juice. And if you enjoy smoothies, add protein and keep portions modest. And check the ingredient list on your bread, not just the front label, looking for visible whole grain pieces rather than fine, soft texture. These are small substitutions, but repeated every single morning, they meaningfully change how your blood sugar behaves for the rest of your day. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Which of these four surprised you the most? Was it the yogurt, something you may have trusted for years? Or was it whole wheat bread, a food almost every health guideline recommends without qualification? Tell me in the comments below, And if there is a specific food or ingredient you would like me to investigate for a future video, let me know that as well. I read every single comment, and they genuinely shape the research behind future videos on this channel. If someone in your life eats one of these foods every morning, believing they are making the healthy choice, share this video with them. Not to make them feel judged, but to give them the information to make a fully informed decision about their own breakfast. As always, everything shared in this video is intended for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for personal medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. If you are managing diabetes, prediabetes, or any blood sugar condition, please speak with your physician or a registered dietitian before making significant changes to your diet. This is Health Clarity, and I will see you in the next one.